We thought we'd all done funded what the state wants to call transportation. You will not believe what the state thinks we all need to pay, and for what? A brand new report. Oh, this is some fun, particularly since you're driving around in the traffic they've created right now in all likelihood. We'll get into that in just a few seconds, right after we check the state of the traffic made bad by WashDOT on purpose. With Right-Way Traffic, brought to you by the Online Trading Academy.
There's a new crash on 405 we have to warn you about. You'll find this southbound at Coal Creek Parkway. Several cars are blocking the left-hand lane, so you're better from 70th place there. Now, 405 northbound's been slow out of Bellevue from northeast 12th Street to northeast 132nd. Tacoma, that crash just about cleaned up northbound I-5 after the Tacoma Dome. That's to be backed up, though, out towards Highway 16. Don't forget the Boeing Access Road on and off ramps from northbound I-5 shut down as they continually clean up this earlier accident. You're listening to AM 770 KTTH.
Attend a free Online Trading Academy workshop. Text the word backup to 57682 and register for ongoing Bellevue workshops and a Mount Vernon workshop on January 24th at 1 o'clock and 5:30 p.m. Yeah? You think you paid some money? Yeah, you have yet begun to pay. Just take a big inhale of the Seattle spirit. Are you bogarting that? No, bogart the Seattle spirit. It's a transportation palooza. And then I'll get to the news and the Hearst decision. The worst and most obviously bought decision in the history of the Seattle Supreme Court, which operates out of Olympia. That's saying something, because the charter school thing was bought. Now, leave your Hearst now or I'll forget. I can already tell. We're going to talk, I hope, tomorrow to Steve O'Ban about this and some other things, but apparently there's been an agreement reached that will give people back their water rights. The Republicans in the House and the Senate in Olympia, you need to give them some thanks. Uncharacteristic of them, they absolutely did not fold. They stood their ground, would not okay a Capitol building project, even though they'd lost the House and the Senate. They were still very close. There are some rural Democrats who are going to get killed at the polls if they didn't come with a fix to this. The Hearst decision is insane and obscene. The Seattle Supreme Court, which operates out of Olympia but represents Seattle, they get to make statewide rulings representing Seattle. They took people's water rights from their land. That's just the fact. And their excuse was the law was too old. And I'm not joking. The law was too old. This is it may be signed tomorrow. And I want to personally thank every Republican who stood for this. And I personally want to point to the Democrats who knew this was coming to get you if you didn't agree to this. Will you look at what your party's become? Rural Democrats, Seattleites are pretending their water comes from the tip of a unicorn that they tip upside down in their 15-foot ceilings with the exposed wood beams, stand on a golden gilded ladder and suck from the horn of the unicorn delicious spring water, forgetting that it comes from the Green River Aquifer. That if you in rural lands have to prove you're not using too much water, how come the elites in Seattle don't have to prove the same thing? The decision was obscene. And it was bought and paid for by radical environmentalists. Now, to the next topic of fun in our area, and that is how much money you have yet left to pay for transportation. Maria Frost at the indispensable Washington Policy Center has read through what the planners at the Puget Sound Regional Council want to do. The Puget Sound Regional Council, they're the ones who, and I'm not being hyperbolic, they hate the fact that you can drive places. These are people, let me think of this. Let's say that you bit into an apple and it had in it the living embryo of a worm. No. Let's say that it had in it a spider's nest of spider eggs with a big hairy spider, and it made noise. Ah! You bit it into the apple. Spider goes, ah! And there's spider eggs in it. Gross enough? That's how they feel about you in cars. They see someone in a car, unless it's them. They see the little people in cars. That's what it's like to them. Or going into a public toilet and there's a snake, and it's coming out and it can scream. Ah! That's how they feel. Their plan is not only to toll all roads, every road. You get in your car, you turn it on, you drive out your driveway, you're being tolled. And hey, you know what? It might be $15 to take your kid to school one day, the next it might be $250. And if you don't like it, their response is, well, we don't. Their drafted transportation plan depends on $40 billion in new taxes and fees and tolls, with the combined existing revenue. This is nearly $200 billion over the next 2 decades. 52% of that is going for local and sound transit. Read that to mean 50% is going to sound transit. Not for driverless cars, not for flying drones, and not to transport people. The top percentage of people this will ever transport as a commuting method is about 3% of people. 52% of your money to be spent to transport 3% of the people. What this is really about is paying off real estate developers. Sound Transit is an eminent domain scam. They perform eminent domain on properties. They build the choo-choo train. When they no longer need to store their equipment, when they no longer need their land to have cleared so they can build all those areas around the choo-choo train, they take that land and they sell it for pennies on the dollar. That is how the money laundering scam of Transportation Choices Coalition, the head of which has now become Jenny Durkin's junior deputy mayor, that is how the real estate developers fund that group. And Sound Transit funds that group, and they launder that money together. Now, how is Pete Rogoff getting rich off this? Don't know. I don't have the proof. I have a sneaking suspicion and an educated guess, and I'd say a pretty damn good guess, that there's no way a man earning that much money is paying rent to live on Queen Anne Hill. It doesn't make any sense. It stinks to high heaven. And I understand the man from who he rents it, that my understanding is that guy was involved in federal transportation businesses. That's my understanding. I could be wrong, but that is my understanding. So what about these fees? Well, check this out. How about an indexed fuel tax, $260 million? Indexed? Yeah, I think that would mean variable. Carbon tax on fuel, $5.2 billion. New motor vehicle tax, $5 billion. Employee tax per employee per month. They want to tax employees. This is the same group that wants to tax carbon, what we exhale, so we will use less of it. This is the same group who wants to drive up the cost of you driving cars so you'll drive less often. This same group wants to charge employers for employees, meaning we will have less of them. Vehicle licensing, $570 million. Vehicle weight, $620 million. Facility tolls, $400 million. We're not even yet to this. Road usage charge, $27.6 billion. And they fully admit they want to be able to spend that money on anything they want. Right now, gas taxes have to be spent on roads. These guys fully admit they want to spend it on anything they want. And this came in a week where King County Metro, did you see this? They put out a tweet that announced that transportation is a human right. King County Metro, who's part of slowing down your commute. King County Metro, who's part of the Sound Transit scam machine, slowing down your commute. King County Metro, who's under federal investigation again because they lead disabled people without rides, but unable to give disabled people rides, they started a bus to take hipsters hiking in the mountains. They call transportation a human right, and they're taking our transportation away. I mentioned this yesterday, but it's so brilliant I mention it again. My friend Brian Myrick, who runs a site called the Northwest Daily Marker, says something profound about Sound Transit and WashDOT and their assault on our mobility. He points out, quote, time is a precious asset. Government's preferred transportation, quote, solutions are really just another kind of eminent domain. The worst kind, in fact. You know what he's saying? WashDOT, Sleepy J. Inslee, Pete Rogoff, the so-called CEO of Sound Transit, Roger Millar, the executive director of the deadly Washington State Department of Transportation, they're performing eminent domain on our time. Yeah, foreclosing upon our time with our families. We'll come back on the Todd Herman Show at AM 770 KTTH. I don't want to talk about that. Really? Is this what I said I want to talk about this hour? At 5:17, I want to talk about this? Why would I want to talk about that? No. I know what we're going to do. Oh, no. You need some happy news out of Washington, D.C.? I'll give you some happy news out of Washington, D.C. We'll do that. Then maybe I'll talk about this thing about young people wanting to be victims, desiring victimhood. Maybe we'll get to that. We will definitely get to the good news out of D.C. because I got to dance. I got to sing, and I want you to do it with me. We'll come back on the Todd Herman Show. Right now, we'll check traffic with Right Way Traffic.
The crash we warned you about, southbound 405.
Several well-known actors and YouTubers share their own experiences. Like Tyler Posey from MTV's Teen Wolf series, he shares what it was like after he lost his mother to breast cancer.
I think humans need to break down and cry every now and then. And I would do that with my mom. And then after she died, I felt like I had no one to do that around. You know, my friends, I got to be tough in front of my friends, in front of my brothers, in front of my dad.
He says it took him a long time to be comfortable enough to open up, but he's glad that his friends didn't let it go. They kept asking him how he was doing, and now he does the same for them.
It's always kind of awkward to start that conversation. But now I think we've gotten comfortable enough with it, and I've seen the good that it does. So I try to get rid of that awkward feeling and just kind of go right for it. It's easy to forget that reaching out to your friends really kind of almost immediately makes things better.
The whole series revolves around the idea that we don't need to work so hard to fill those awkward silences. Hannah Hart is the star of the weekly YouTube show, My Drunk Kitchen.
I feel like we have a tendency to want to fix problems and solve and give people advice. If you just did this and this, you'd feel better. Okay, great, thanks. It's resolved. And I do this too. But that's only because we don't want to see the person we love suffering. But unfortunately, sometimes we have to let them suffer in that moment so they can let their suffering out. If somebody's starting to cry and it makes you feel really awkward and really uncomfortable, just sit with it, man, because odds are they need to cry.
And the best part is all you have to do is text the word awkward to 98973. You can get a link to all of these videos and all of this information to help you have that awkward moment.
Is there one simple thing that they say in all these? Because I'm one of those people that I'm like, I don't know what to say. It's going to be weird, and I don't know if I can fix it.
And it's their mantra, embrace the awkward. It really is just, it's going to be weird. If you're waiting for it not to be weird, that's never going to happen. So just go with it, embrace the awkward, and have that conversation.
It's kind of interesting. Todd, who works on our sister station, he does afternoons 3 to 6. At the end of his show every day, he does a piece where he reveal something, maybe about himself or his family or about his life, something that's learned. And he's going to come visit us at 6 o'clock and talk about how he struggled with suicide and how he was ready to take his life. And the people that jumped in, that made a difference. And the people that jumped in didn't know what to do. They just knew that they needed to do something. And they're like, we're going to jump in here right now, and then we will all just kind of figure this out along the way. But we're going to figure it out together.
And I have to say, I learned something just last week, ironically. My daughter came to me, and she said, Mom, are you okay? Just out of the blue. Walks up to me, Mom, are you okay? Yeah, why, honey? Well, I saw you have a book next to your bed about dealing with anxiety. So, are you okay? And I thought it was so cool that she was able to express that. And she said, I'm worried about you, so I just wanted to ask.
Wow.
And I thought, how cool is that? I think if we could all do that, we would have so many, fewer incidents like what happened at WSU.
Yeah. So without getting too personal, how when your child asks you that, number one, you're really proud of her because you're like, wow, you have empathy, so you appreciate that. And then do you explore that with her, or just say, no, I don't have that, and it's some book your father's reading?
No. I mean, I told her I'm reading that because I deal with anxiety, and they know I have moments where I have to walk away from them and I have to go back and have some quiet time, I like to call it, because my anxiety is getting the better of me, and I know that I'm going to do things or say things that I will deeply regret later on. I can feel it, and my kids can see it. My kids will tell me, Mom, do you need a minute?
Time
out.
Yeah.
Mom.
So they understand that, yes, I mean, sometimes tough stuff is tough. And I just need a moment to gather myself, and they respect that, and it's nice that we can have that conversation.
Who was that YouTube star that said what she said? She talked about
Hannah Hart.
You have to let the suffering out. It's
from
really
My
good.
Drunk Kitchen. Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 minutes from Hannah Hart. It's all really good. So yeah, if you can, text awkward to 98973 and you can check it all out.
Yeah, and there we'll just send you some information on how you can have these conversations. And I don't think you can ever start these conversations too young. My son told me the other day that he felt fat, that he felt like he was the weirdest kid in school, that he just wishes that he was normal, that other kids don't want to sit with him at lunch because they think he's weird. And so I wanted to jump in just like she talked about and fix his suffering. But as Dr. Brene Brown says, stop trying to create perfect kids. Kids were built for the struggle. They just need to know, though, they need to have the knowledge that you love them, that you care about them, and that you're there for them. But you're not always going to have all the answers. And sometimes you have to embrace the suck, and you have to go through that. Because then you build empathy for other kids. And he and I had opened up a conversation. Have you ever looked around? And you're a second grader now. Are there kindergartners or first graders that are maybe sitting in that lunchroom, or maybe someone that just transferred to your school, and they're looking for someone to sit with them at lunch? Maybe that's your opportunity to do that. So,
yeah, at different times in your life, you may be that kid, or you may be the one who walks over to that kid. I mean, there's ebbs and flows and everything. And just because a kid seems to have it all together, even the quarterback, just look out for each other.
Yeah. Really important story. If you can't spell awkward, don't worry about it, because Candy knows you can't spell it. And so
she planned ahead.
No matter what version of awkward you come up with, chances are we're going to get your text message.
Now I want to go test it out. I wonder how many different versions of awkward I can come up with.
There you go. Text awkward to 98973. Also, if you just need to talk with someone tonight, you need to talk with someone right now. There's a suicide prevention hotline. There's someone on the other side won't judge you, that will care about you, that knows what you're going through, and they'll talk to you 24/7. The number is 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Really important that collectively we all continue to talk about suicide in our culture, suicide with our kids, suicide with our family and our friends. We need to continue to talk about suicide, and we will continue to do that on the Ron and Don Show. Traffic this hour brought to you by the Animal Queen Casino. Here's Tracy with the cars. Kim has all your headlines after that. And then Rachel Bell has a story about a financial dominatrix.
Say what?
Oh, boy. Tracy, what do you got?
Right now, we are working with this accident. Right lane's blocked on Highway 12, just after Devonshire Road out in Montesano. We are dealing with a lot of difficult traffic. An earlier crash on Sumner Taps Highway heading southbound just after Taps Drive East, and then just before Highway 410. That earlier crash has been cleared. The only thing that I see blocking right now that's still an issue is East Marginal Way at Ellis Avenue South. It sounds as if that still has the right lane blocked. Also, both on and off ramps from Boeing Access Road to and from I-5 are still blocked there, too. As for real-time travel times, if you're going to express lanes from Seattle to Everett, it's going to take you about 78 minutes. Our drive to Bellevue on 520 will take you 22 minutes. It's pretty heavy, though, and it's still going to take you roughly about a 90-minute drive from Seattle heading into Tacoma. Traffic brought to you by Emerald Queen Casino, presenting Blue Oyster Cult March 10th. These legendary rockers bring their best just for you. Blue Oyster Cult only at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. Cairo Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Tracy Taylor.
Hey, Ron, Don here from Mattress Firm. So, Don, you needed some beds. Your kid needed a bed. You needed a bed. How was your experience as a Mattress Firm customer? I feel like I'm on 60 Minutes right now. How was your experience, sir?
Yeah, I went to see Ted up there at the Northgate store, and I needed to buy a couple beds. And the great thing is, my son came in there, and he was kind enough to take his shoes off.
Made himself at home.
Then he took off his socks, which I thought he went a little too far. Boy, did his feet stink. But, his dad hadn't bathed them in probably well over 2 weeks, so that's probably on me. And then he started bouncing from bed to bed.
Did he try to jump from one bed to the next?
Yeah, he was doing a running man. And then I went out, and I went like, I went to Ted. I'm like, I'm sorry about that. He goes, no. Is he getting in bed today? I said, yeah. He goes, we want to test out all the beds. And chances are, when you're at home and you're a kid, you want to jump up and down on your bed. So he might as well jump up and down on all the beds. So that's what he did. Then he turned to Ted and he said, Ted, Ted, I cannot sleep on a firm mattress.
My back's...
I have back problems. And he pointed towards his back. And so Ted's like, well, you know what? We are going to lay down.
Just the same way. I like not a firm mattress.
That's what we did. I also got the Beautyrest Black. I got it with the black ice. And the reason I got that is because I sleep hot. And sometimes gel mattresses, they get hot.
You get the movable base.
I got the movable base, too. So I'm pretty excited about that. So they took great care of me at Mattress Firm. They'll take great care of you, too. And right now, get 0% APR for 5 years during Mattress Firm's New Year's sleep sale. All you have to do is call 866-780-6220 for credit costs and terms. That's subject to credit approval. Hey, do what I did. Walk into a Mattress Firm, have your child jump up and down on all the beds. Go see Ted Northgate. Take great care of you. You are going to save lots of money, and you are going to sleep happy.
Remembering Deputy Daniel...
On the face of the Constitution.
The way we go about it, the way we interpret it, the way we enforce it will be dramatically different under the current administration than it was under the last. Effective today, we've put something similar in place here to what we did across the entire executive branch at the outset of the administration. I think at the outset of the administration, we did a 90-day hiring freeze. We've put a 30-day hiring freeze here at CFPB. Probably more importantly, we put a 30-day immediate freeze on any new rules, regulation, and guidance. Anything that's in the pipeline stops.
Hear this, man! Do you not love what you're hearing?
For at least 30 days while I get a chance to see exactly what's going on.
This is why Lizzie Warren was panicked that they could get a Republican in charge. Want to know why? Because he can go see what's going on. Oh, please get Lizzie with this. Oh, by the way, did you know she's Native American? No, seriously, her family has a chowder recipe.
Kick the tires here at the Bureau. Additionally, there'll be no payments out of the civil penalties fund for at least 30 days while I get a chance to see what's happening with that. I think there's in excess of $50 million in that fund, and I want to get a handle on what that fund is all about before we start making any distributions. There's going to be obvious, important exceptions to this. I had a chance to talk with legal some today and enforcement today and some things that are going on in existing lawsuits. I'll be briefed tomorrow on the roughly, I think there's 100 or so lawsuits that the agency, that the Bureau is involved with. I get briefed on that tomorrow. Clearly, if there are statutory deadlines, those will continue to be met. If there are legal deadlines as part of litigation, those will be met. But in terms of anything that is discretionary, we're putting a 30-day hold on it here.
Did you hear that, man? Now, I know it's bureaucratic language, and maybe I'm turning into a geek. Hold on. Yeah, I think I'm turning into a geek. That thrills me. That's my thrill up my leg. That's downsizing. And here's the best part. He gets to look at the budget. He gets to look at who got what. He gets to go back to the groups that have this money and say no more. Suck it out the swamp. We'll come back on the Todd Herman Show on AM 770 KTTH. Right now, we'll check traffic with Right Way Traffic.
Very slow drive on 405 in both directions. We had that one crash southbound. It's been cleared, which is good news. Pretty tough out there from Highway 520 to Coal Creek Parkway. Also northbound I-405 stop and go from Main Street out towards 85th Street. This traffic report has been brought to us by Walgreens. Switch your Medicare Part D prescriptions to Walgreens and start saving today with copays as low as $0 on select plans with Tier 1 generics. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. You're listening to AM 770 KTTH.
No matter where you are, take AM 770 KTTH with you. Download the AM 770 KTTH app. Stream Rush, Medved, Rants, and Herman. Read the latest stories from KTTH.com. Get breaking news notifications. And listen to exclusive podcasts.
Hey, it's Todd Herman. AM 770 KTTH is always streaming live on the KTTH mobile app.
You'll never be without AM 770 KTTH. Brought to you by Absolute Return Solutions. Your retirement fix.
This is David at Northwest Safe. A Liberty Safe provides a layer of security that locks and alarms can't. Now for...
Strauss' half of the program sees the composer painting himself as an unlikely hero in his epic work, Ein Heldenleben. Take your seat for 2 weekends of bold and beloved works in the Seattle Symphony's Delta Masterworks series at Benaroya Hall. Call the box office or visit seattlesymphony.org to get your tickets today.
Sup? Jack Frost here. As the godfather of all winter weather, I'm in charge of the cold snaps, snow, sleet, rain, wind chill, blah, blah, blah. I get a brain freeze just thinking about it. Let me break the ice. When you're looking to chill out this winter, take it from the one who knows chill. Warm up with award-winning spirits from Heritage Distilling Company. From your favorite bar, retailer, or the warm and friendly confines of our tasting rooms. HeritageDistilling.com, Gig Harbor, Washington. So let it flow all over your icicle. New Year's resolutions from Heritage Distilling Company. Get out of the house more often. Go to a Heritage tasting room. Try new things. Be more adventuresome. Yeah, like BSB 103, the world's only overproof flavored whiskey. The most awarded craft distillery in North America has you covered. See? Resolutions aren't so hard. Heritage Distilling offers award-winning spirits to get you through the dark days of holding on to your resolution. Lose that unwanted holiday dessert baggage. Oh, boy. HeritageDistilling.com, Gig Harbor, Washington.
Keep up with the conversation. Sign up for the Cairo Radio News Rundown at mynorthwest.com. Live from the Cairo Radio News Center.
Yes, we need to address the DACA program, and we are engaged in good faith negotiations as we speak. But that deadline is weeks away.
Speaker Paul Ryan, as a divided House votes to prevent a government shutdown after an 11th-hour deal brought conservatives on board. But the GOP written measure is facing an uphill battle in the Senate. After the vote, House Speaker Paul Ryan urged the Senate to pass it.
The only people standing in the way of keeping the government open are Senate Democrats. Whether there is a government shutdown or not is now entirely up to them.
But Democrats have threatened to reject the bill over slow-moving talks on immigration. Massive floods continue to pound the north and central coast, with some flooding in lowland areas. Right now, a coastal flood warning is in effect, with the Coast Guard recording waves up to 30 feet high.
Just use common sense, be safe. Again, don't turn your back to the ocean. Don't go in the water. Stay away from the water and realize that the water level could change drastically in a matter of seconds.
The Coast Guard says they expect the conditions to remain dangerous through tomorrow in areas including Westport, Ocean Shores, and La Push. A local veteran wants to make sure the person responsible for shooting and killing a bald eagle near Snohomish is held accountable. The Sarvey Wildlife Care Center says the one-year-old eagle was shot down yesterday near Roosevelt and Highway 2. They were originally offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to the culprit, but that's now being doubled after a local veteran said he would match their offer. And we're just getting word in on services or for just a memorial vigil that's going to be held tomorrow for Tyler Holinsky at WSU. It'll be at 7 o'clock at the Cougar statue, and the university says they'll be providing candles for the first 4,000 people who are able to show up. A look at your drive now. Here's Cairo Radio real-time traffic.
Our Bellevue to Everett drive will take you roughly about 70 minutes, and our Bellevue to Federal Way drive will also take you about 72. So the good thing is we're starting to see traffic volumes slowly kind of fizzle out. But again, I say that slowly. We're still working with the off-ramp and on-ramp from Boeing Access Road to northbound 5 to be cleaned up from our earlier overturned semi. As for other blocking incidents, they have all been cleared. We're just left with residual backups. Westbound 520 from Bellevue Way, eastbound 90 between I-5 and the Mercer Island Lid. You are going to find the northbound 405 drive to struggle coming out of SeaTac on 518 all the way up through the Renton S-curves, Valley Freeway, shy of that Valley Medical Center up towards 277. And Tacoma also feeling the pinch on South 105, leaving Highway 18 towards the Dome. Pretty busy getting out of Lakewood through Joint Base Lewis McCord. Traffic is brought to you by Muckleshoot Bingo. Celebrates seniors every Wednesday with special senior discounts. Seniors with a current VIP card are eligible to receive special discounts. Muckleshoot Bingo, the destination for Machingo. Cairo Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Tracy Taylor.
We're going to stay in a pattern that is pretty active over the next few days, but no big storm systems heading our way. Morning low temperatures on Friday in the low 40s, highs in the upper 40s with passing showers through the day. I'm Cairo 7 Chief Meteorologist Morgan Paul.
43 outside the Carter Subaru Studios now. I'm Kim Shepard.
Ron and Don's Top 5 Fact 5.
Number 3.
All right, Don preemptively already gave out the code word for today. Should we give out the code word again? All right.
Oh, we should. Code word is money. As in, show me the money. Head to our show page, mynorthwest.com. Fill out the entry form. Be entered to win tonight's great prize. Don't forget, you have 8 o'clock to do so. Show me the money, because, Ron, we're talking about money right now.
That's right. Rachel Bell found, I don't know how she found this woman, but I'll just let her explain it herself.
I'm Theodora, and I'm a financial dominatrix.
This is a story about Theodora, a Paris-based financial dominatrix. Now,
and happy birthday, nameless grandma. I know you have a name, but I don't get to know it. Apparently your grandson wasn't polite enough to tell me that. Just kidding. On a personal note tonight, I appreciate all the notes of support last night from people who sent me notes thanking me for talking about what happened to me in Salt Lake City. The decision to talk about feeling like I wanted to kill myself, and back in those days, this has been mislabeled. I've had a tremendous number of people email me and say it's brave. That it was brave. It's not, and I appreciate you saying that. And understand, this happened 30 years ago, or no, not that, 25 years ago. It's not brave to talk about it now. The braveness would have been to talk about it then. And I ultimately did talk to my mom. And I shared with you last night that when I did that, I actually thought my mom would say, oh, that makes sense. I was so twisted in the head around where I was at in life. I thought when I called my mom and said, hey, you know what, I'm going to commit suicide, that my mom would say, well, I'd like to argue with you, but you make really strong points, and that did not occur. So I had a lot of people email me saying it was brave of you to tell us. Well, let me ask you, why would I not tell you? Why would that be a piece of my history I would keep hidden from you? Those of us who have access to communication like radio, there's a new thing that we need to do in talk radio, and I truly believe this. There is, and has been for many years, a trick some hosts play. Now, not the great ones. The great ones, they've got it all figured out, and far be it for me, a rank amateur, to tell the great ones how to do their thing. But there has been existing in talk radio for a long time sort of the impenetrable host, the always happy host, the host who knows all, the host who never reaches a subject on which he's torn, the host who comes in and it is A or it is B, it is 1 or it is 0, it is binary. The host who can go back to the earliest years of their life and say, oh, I had never suffered and I had never been. We who have the communication medium that we do in the days of podcasts where people can go listen to whatever they want, those of us who have this microphone, we owe it to treat it differently. We owe the media to share those moments. Because I am not brave. The brave ones sometimes won't talk. And that leads me to the final bit of this personal note. In the emails that I received was one that was most meaningful to me. And it came from Beth. We've communicated before about the show. And Beth writes, Dear Mr. Herman, we've spoken before on the air when you've taken phone calls and I've sent you a note. We've most often communicated about post-traumatic stress disorder. I want you to know that tonight I happened to be in the car. She's talking about last night. I happened to be in the car when you made your stunning announcement during your personal life. It had never occurred to me that a man in your position would have gone through such desperate straits. I want you also to know that I was in the car with my son. My son has come back from a combat tour, and we know something is wrong. We've known something is wrong, and he has not been willing to talk about it. He happens to be a terrific fan of your show, also dearly loves Michael Medved, who he calls his intellectual Sherpa. As I drove down the road listening to your personal note, I noticed that he'd become very quiet. We were simply driving to the store to pick up some things for dinner for the night, as we have neighbors coming over. We arrived at the store and listened to the end of your personal note. My son, for the first time in over 11 years, began to cry. We didn't make dinner. I sat with my son for the next 3 hours in my car and listened to him explain the challenges of reintegrating with society. He shared with me facts such as he feels he's been trained to kill and proud of what he did, but he doesn't feel that he's been trained to not kill. He worries about having a family because he doesn't know if he's been trained to, as he called it, wind it down. He told me that he doesn't have post-traumatic stress, that he simply has anxiety about whether he can live as a full participant in life. You're talking about this at that moment led my son to confess to me that he had been considering ending his life. I want you to know that after the 3 hours we spent in a grocery store parking, I did go get food because we were both hungry. And I consider that a great sign. My son came home with me. We asked our neighbors if it would be okay if we spent our time that night as a family. My husband and I sat with our son through the entire night at our kitchen table. I thank you for making the decision to share what you did. I just wanted you to know that one of your biggest fans really needed to hear it. God bless you, and I'm glad that you never looked back. Well, God bless you, Beth. And we communicated earlier. I sent you a note. You said your son is going to be listening, and I'm not to say his name, and I shall not. I'll just say, brother, hey, talking about it, letting it out, that's where it's at. And I'll guarantee you something, my friend. We've never met. I thank you for what you did. I will flat guarantee you something. right now, there are thousands of people, and they are saying internally, and some of them to the radio, thank you, we've got your back, talk to us, stay with us. For me, it was God that finally turned me completely around, and I have never looked back 25 years later. You're going to do this. You're going to do this, brother. So this is the Todd Herman Show. We are every weekday 3 to 6 p.m. usually. Today we'll leave a little bit early for a basketball game. Go be well, be strong, and be kind.